it's recording. This is an introduction to a Sun's Open Journal. I figured that it would be best to explain the reason why I'm making these videos. Something happened several years ago when my family, my wife, and my 4 sons moved back from Oklahoma to our home county of Humboldt County, California. Several years have passed. It has to do with a heartbreaking event concerning that having to do with my family. Little bit of background. I moved away from my home county of Humboldt County to go to Texas. Back in the early 90s to go to graduate school. And while I was there, I was studying to get my MFA. And while we were over there, back in 98, my wife and I got married. And before 2001, we've had 2 sons. I graduated 2001, and I think in 2002 we moved to Oklahoma, where we started buying a home. My wife gave birth to twins, starting to get our family going, which was wonderful. Now, from that time on, our boys were getting bigger, growing, happy family, a lot of hard work. Yeah, there was times of ups and downs and stuff like that. But around my 40th year of life, that's when I lost my mom to cancer. It was heartbreaking. That was 7 years ago. Now, 4 years ago, an opportunity for my wife, a job opportunity arose to where we were able to, she would accept a great paying position, and that was the great opportunity that we got for an excuse to move back here. I told my dad about it. He was living in his house, just him and his grandson, my nephew, and when I told him of this great opportunity, that's when he suddenly, out of nowhere, when I was talking to him, said that if you want to move back here, you can move back. You can move into our house, because it's a big house. It was just him and his grandson, my nephew. If we move into the house, that house had plenty of room. He said, move here, you can stay here. If you move back to Humboldt County, you can move into this house. Which was a great thing. It was a great offer. Long story short, we accepted the offer. Started the proceedings to have our house in Oklahoma rented out. We packed all our stuff. I got rid of a lot of stuff, including tools and equipment, because my dad promised that I can use his tools and equipment. He lives on a good-sized chunk of land, plenty of space for our boys. It seemed ideal. It was great. Got in the stressful process of getting our house ready to rent, getting all our stuff, moving from Oklahoma to California. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. But little did we know, the month before we moved, since my dad was a widower for 3 years, a month before we moved, he met another woman. And that brings up the reason why, that was the starting of the trouble. We moved, we got started settling in, and gradually, with making another long story shorter, My dad only slept one night in the house with us when we were there. And let's just say after 3 months, with contention that suddenly rose, which I'll go into detail with the following videos, eventually we got evicted by my dad, kicked out of the house, and forced out. Which brings up the much larger story, and it brings up to the reason why I'm starting this channel, that I have started this channel some years ago. I started it with the intention of a open video journal, if you would. A journal, a video journal of me directly talking to my dad, knowing full well that my dad may never see these entries. When I started the channel, I had several hours of video on my old phone with just me, stream of consciousness, pretending that I'm talking to my dad, just letting out my frustration, my hurt, my anger, my rage, expressing my thoughts to my dad if he were face to face with me. I would pretend, with the phone that I had, just look at the camera and say, "Hey Dad, this is my thought. You hurt me for this. I'm frustrated. Why did you do what you do? Blah, 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 blah." I had several hours of video, raw video, that I was going to break down into chapters, or not really chapters, but entries. But most of those videos are gone. Most of them are gone. And it's a good thing, because several years have passed, and with that time, I was able to process many of the emotions I was feeling at the time. Those videos I didn't post because looking back, I didn't want all that raw, sometimes irrational rage to be posted here. But now, since that time has passed, I can more rationally and coherently express the emotions I was going through, the thoughts, and the like, in hopes that maybe someday my dad will see each entry as they're posted, and maybe with the distance of time and the passage, and also that kind of wall of technology, where he would watch the video, hear my thoughts, and maybe that would rebuild our relationship. I love my dad very much, even after everything that had happened. And it is my hopes that these entries would somehow rebuild the gulf between us. Also, another reason that most of the videos that I had recorded back then was recorded at between, I would say, maybe 2 and 4 in the morning, when I was working an overnight shift at the job I had. So with all that raw emotion and the fatigue of staying up at night, and most of it being a strong coffee-fueled rage, if you would. Now that I don't have that job, and now that time has passed, and I was able to process a lot of the emotions, and with a lot of prayer, and with a lot of leaning on my God to heal my heart through Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that I'm completely healed. There's a lot that I still need to process, but the big thing is that forgiveness and loving my dad, and even while my brain is still not understanding why he did what he did, at least in the heart, trying every day and every hour, a lot of times, just trying to forgive him for the things that had happened. And I'm not saying that he is the reason why and that I'm the innocent victim. I'm human. There's some things I did that I'm not proud of. But that's the point of these entries. Okay, so from here on out, every new video that follows is going to be me talking to my dad. So, let's see what happens.